So I know there's a couple videos out there, but I'll show you how. Take off the cover. There's a clamp here. There's one in the front and one on top. And I'll show you what you kind of do. So right now the clamp, it will not come off if you just pull straight down. What you have to do is over on this other side, the thing you have to push in, and at the same time, or kind of swivels out. I don't know if you can see it. And then this pops down. And then we'll go over to the front one, same thing. Find that little swivel thing, and then it pops out. Open that up. Now this one is always kind of a pain because right here, it will rub when you open it. So it is a two-handed job, and you have to push up on this with quite a bit of pressure to get the latch to go over it. All right, got it off. Actually had to use one of these to kind of stick in there like this, get behind it and pull, and that really helped. But I'm really considering trying to shave some of that off or bend it somewhere so it makes it easier to clear that, to make it easier to open. Right after that, use both hands and shake this thing. Oh, got it open. And it should come right open. Little jiggle. There we go. And it just pulls to the side. To remove it completely, if you need to, is you undo that as well, and it'll pop right off completely. Takes a little bit of a shimmering around, but it'll come out. Anyway, right here we got the new 2025s. They actually come with this little plate here with holes and they're threaded. And actually, it doesn't come with the screw, but I found one that matches it, and with a 13mm head, and it screws in there like this. And then you use a wrench, torque it down, pushes on this plate, and it puts pressure on it, and it relieves tension on the belt. It makes it easier. Before, you have to get a crow's foot in between there and try to pry it as you're spinning it, and it was kind of a pain. So this does make it easier. All right, I got a clamp off, and then this should just pull right out. There we go. That's what the inside looks like so far. So far, I do see some belt dust or grime that are kind of black. It's kind of sticky on there. I'm gonna blow it out and also clean the belts when I replace it. But after that, this belt just comes. Okay, I got it, tightened it all the way. You can see the belt's really loose, hanging pretty much out the bottom. And then, so what you do, kind of pull it out and rotate it at the same time. Again, it's a two-hand job, but it'll come out. I found it easier to squeeze the back part kind of together and make sure it comes out level. If it's twisted at all, it binds up. So, boop, pops right out. So here is the belt that came on it. It's broken in. Check in through it. See if there's any cracks or anything, any scuffing. Yeah, there's a little bit of dirtiness on there. As you can see in my hand, kind of getting a little dark, but I'm gonna clean this. Soap and water. So on the right is the belt that came on it, and then the new one that says Speed UTV is the replacement after you break in the belt. That's the one you put on there. But I will clean that as well with like Dawn scouring pad, let it dry. But since I'm in here, I'm gonna take a look inside, see if there's anything dirty. And a little blackness there, don't know. But see if there's any bolts that are loose, hanging out. Anything on the fin, inside here. Luckily, everything's torqued and got a mark, so if anything's off, something to note. You can also look in here where it travels up and down. guide in there. Make sure there's no crazy scratching or marks like belts are getting hot in a certain area, like it expands too much or too little. And then I'm gonna blow it out, wipe it down with the cloth, make sure that area is clean. And that's gonna also help with belt life and belt temperatures as well. I'll check this one as well. All right, we'll see how much dust comes off when you blow out the clutches. Yeah, that gets pretty dusty. Right now I have about 170 miles on the Speed, and all that little bit of dust needs to be cleaned out. Really should be cleaned out every major ride. It'll really extend your belt life. But as you can see, every little particle, that's going to be wear and friction. So I clean the belts with some Dawn and water lightly, and you see there's black stuff on there. All that stuff will heat up your belt. All right. And so I guess what we do is just clean that with soap and water, wash it off, let it dry. And then on the clutch itself, don't want to spray brake cleaner directly on it, but you want to spray it on a rag and wipe down the sheaths here, because that's where your belt rides in there and in here. And then let that dry completely, and then your belt is ready to be put in. And don't spray brake cleaner directly on your belt either. All right, to put the belt back on and do everything in reverse. Gonna squeeze this one, let it line up straight, and it'll slip on there. All right, once you got that on, then you're gonna start going above start putting the belt below on the little fan there. Be careful. The fan is plastic, so don't pry it, either one, because it's like one of the only things that helps with the cooling, and it's not very strong, so be careful with that. But yeah, go over once and then push it on the bottom and keep twisting forward, and boop, it's in there. Cool. Next, we remove the bolt all the way. And removing it's pretty easy. Just do it with your hand, because the clutch kind of stays there. You still see the gap. And as you start moving it starts moving forward. And that gap gets smaller and smaller, and it puts more tension on that belt. And just kind of go around like 10 times, 15 times, make sure it's nice and taut. Perfect, still against that plate. And check right there, a little bit of give, not too much. Looks good. All right, well, getting this baby back on was really fun. Kept wanting to pinch it and everything. So I tried to get it on there the best I could on the body, and get the front kind of pinched, and I stuck a flathead screwdriver and just worked my way slowly around until it popped out. It's a lot of fun. You'll really enjoy it. All right, so we should be good to go. Just make sure you lock all the way, that your top lock, your bottom lock, and the front lock. Get a good little shake. It should be solid. Tighten your hose down, and then you'll be good to go. And you're ready to break in your new belt. So basically, to break in your belt, I've heard different things. And you want to go through 5 heat cycles. Going easy on your belt. You want to drive about 15-20 miles. Don't go more than 3/4 throttle. Don't floor it all the way, nothing like that, because that can break your belt, and it will make it not last as long. Some people can go 1,000, 1,300 miles and not have a problem. They'll just throw it on and go, but you know, all these things will prevent you from breaking a belt in the future. it does nothing but help you, because anything can happen, and this is easier than being stranded in the desert or going through 2 belts on a weekend or something and having to do this. So I recommend doing it. But yeah, some people, they'll drive 15-20 miles in first gear, let it cool down all the way. The next time they'll do second gear, drive a little bit, 15-20 miles, and then after 2 times they'll drive harder or whatever, and it works for them. But I've heard from the manufacturer do it 5 heat cycles. But one last thing I recommend that I thought was pretty good is when you're done riding, let it idle for about 5 minutes and let the clutch spin as it cools down. Because usually if you just turn it off and you got a hot belt, it's gonna be sitting on metal somewhere and you're gonna have a hot spot, and it will eventually become a weak spot. So just make sure you have a 5 minutes of idle time. That will really prolong your belt as well. All right, final thought is after you do that, make sure when you go driving out in the desert that you do bring some type of glove that is heat resistant, so you won't burn yourself, because if you blow a belt, the housing and the belt, everything will be very hot. That's something that's overlooked by people, so definitely bring something like that. And that's how you do it. Thanks for watching.